Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'll just give you guys a quick disclaimer. I think there's some kind of road work or something being done. You might hear like some kind of a jackhammer in the background. So just wanted to say that before I finish recording this. But I have been doing videos on this channel detailing every different type of treatment, like alternative treatment that I've tried to help my condition. And recently I think I did a video on lymphatic drainage. So that should have already posted, or it should be posting soon. And I've been considering going back to acupuncture. I haven't been to acupuncture in years. And I couldn't remember if I had done a video on acupuncture already, because I did acupuncture a really, really long time ago, specifically a type of acupuncture known as NAET. I do think I made a video on that. You might want to search for it here on my channel. It's NAET acupuncture. That's a specific type of acupuncture. But I have also done regular acupuncture in the past as well. So I kind of just wanted to talk about my experience with those two. I don't want to make it a super long video because I'm pretty sure I have a video specifically on NAET already. For those of you that don't know what NAT is, I didn't know what it was either before I started going. It stands for Nabundraprad. It's the last name of the person that invented it. So Nabundraprad or Namundraprad allergy elimination technique. So it's a specific type of acupuncture that helps you to eliminate allergies. And apparently they've had success with, even eliminating severe allergies that result in anaphylaxis and stuff like that. I did not go there for a severe allergy. I think I had just completed like 6 months of intravenous antibiotic therapy, and, I just wasn't doing great. I was developing food intolerances left and right. And so my doctor was like, go do this, and see if you can, I guess to get me back on track, because I was really underweight and things just had not gone well with the antibiotics. So basically you could also work on food sensitivities with this. There are, I believe, 10 initial treatments, like treatment groups that you have to clear. I think it's like vitamins. I go into it more specifically, I think, in my other video on NAT, but you have to do 10 treatments, I think, first before they can actually start treating you on specific things. For example, if you have like a peanut allergy or a sensitivity or whatever, you have to clear those first 10 before they actually get you to, to actually treating that specific allergy. So it can be very costly and very expensive. From what I remember, it cost me, I think, $75 a pop. It's probably a lot more now. This was several years ago, probably 10 years ago at this point. So at $75 a pop, and you have to do mandatory 10 treatments before you actually get to, actually treating the allergy or the specific thing that you have going. I mean, I remember I think I blew thousands of dollars on this. Did it help? Yeah, it kind of got me out of a tight spot. But I didn't have a specific allergy. I was just kind of developing intolerances, here and there to different things. I didn't really know specifically what, but I would notice that as I did those initial 10 treatments, I would start feeling better, and I would start eating things and not having as much discomfort or, whatever. So sometimes though, what happens is that it gets difficult to identify what it is specifically that's bothering you. As you clear those first 10 treatments, then you're just like, okay, well, why is this thing that I eat still bothering me? It could be the calcium in it. It could be some kind of an allergen or some kind of a protein in it. Sometimes you just don't know. So if you don't know what it is that your issue is specifically with a certain food, it could be like an amino acid or something. And, those things are very difficult to identify. It's almost just like trial and error. So that's where it gets tricky, is that sometimes it can just be something very specific. Like if you're reacting to steak, it could be a million different things. It could be a B vitamin. It could be protein. It could be histamine. But how do you identify that? You just have to do all those treatments and eliminate, everything one by one. And it gets very expensive. It's very tedious. And at a certain point, I was like, I'm just burning money. So I stopped it for a while, and then I went back to it a few years ago, because I keep developing food intolerances and issues like that. And I just didn't find it as effective. My opinion is that as time goes on and your immune system or your health continues to decline, if you are in that kind of a situation like me, where my health just continues to get worse, I find that these treatments are less and less effective. So I eventually just stopped going to acupuncture altogether. In between this, though, going to NAET the first time and then, the most recent time, I found just a regular acupuncturist by my home. NAET is a lot more difficult to find a practitioner because they have to be trained in it and they have to complete, sometimes they're just beginners, sometimes they're intermediate or they're advanced. I think there's a website that you can go to. I think NAET has their own website where you could find a practitioner and you put in your zip code and someone will pop up and it'll tell you whether they're beginning, intermediate, and advanced. I don't think that this is, I was treated by the originator, by the woman that developed this, and then I was treated by her sister. And I noticed that it varies by practitioner. I think some people just have a good touch when it comes to this kind of thing, and some people don't. So you will see that sometimes it's just not as effective depending on who you get. And like I said, finding these practitioners is, they're not all over the place. You know what I'm saying? You have to kind of drive to find, decent practitioners sometimes. So it's expensive and unsustainable. I'm pretty sure it's more than $75 a pop at this point. And I found that it loses efficacy over time. I decided to go to a regular Chinese acupuncturist, and she was actually a Chinese lady, and she would actually go to China, and like brush up, on her acupuncture and Chinese medicine and then come back. And she was pretty good, but to be honest, I'm not sure if at the point where I was going to her, if I felt much of anything or any kind of improvement. And I can't remember why I was going to her. There must have been a reason because I typically only do treatments. I typically only do treatments if I'm feeling something, if I'm not feeling well. I must have been having maybe stomach issues at the time. I can't remember. I do remember having joint pain afterwards, almost like I was having like a flare or some kind of like inflammatory response. I think I've also gotten that with NAET. So when I feel those kinds of reactions, I think to myself, it's doing something. But, eventually it just, I think she was cheaper. She might have been like 60 something dollars a pop, maybe less. But again, if I'm not seeing any results from it, I kind of tend to just save my money. And, I also probably was not in as good of a financial place as I am now. And so I just stopped going. And a lot of times too, it's the stress of figuring out, well, what do I want treated, or what do I tell them? I have so many things going on. What's the priority? I am considering going back to acupuncture. I found an acupuncturist near me that seems to have pretty good reviews. She specializes in women's health. I had made an appointment with her this week and I canceled because I've been going through some kind of a flare with my stomach. So things seem to be improving. So I decided to be cautious because, like I said, sometimes you will flare up after these treatments. The treatments can sometimes flare you up as well, especially if they detox you. I talked about that in my lymphatic drainage video. So, I'm going through this flare up and it's like, okay, do I want to add acupuncture on top of that? I have been thinking about going back to acupuncture. I've been thinking about it for a while now. But I'm going through the tattoo removal process, and then on top of that, going to lymphatic drainage, which I think is a priority right now. But, given my stomach issues and just, also having, female health issues as well. I thought to myself, you know what, I should just give it a go again and see. The problem is that, it is expensive. I think the initial consultation is like $175. It's a 90-minute consult, and I'm guessing that includes like the first round of acupuncture. And then after that, it's like $85 a pop. So it is a little bit on the pricier side, but it's basically, the same as what I was doing, if you adjust it for, how prices have gone up. So I mean, 85 is probably the going rate right now for acupuncture. So I'll give you guys an update if I decide to see this acupuncturist. I really do want to. I want to see if there's any other things that I can do to at least keep myself, keep my head above water, because things have been rough the last couple of years. But I'll let you guys know, and I'll give you guys an update. But I just wanted to make this video since I've been, making videos, short videos detailing all the different alternative treatments that I've tried. I make these videos because I'm trying to give you guys an accurate account, because there are people out there that are just like, this is amazing, or there'll be like an acupuncturist that'll make a video and tell you, oh, this is going to help this, this, and this. But it's better to hear it from the horse's mouth, somebody that is sick and that does have chronic health issues, ongoing chronic health issues. Because, people that are healthy that go get these treatments done, of course, they're going to have great results. They're going to feel energized and amazing. But people that are sick or chronically ill, our bodies are going to respond differently to this. It's like, climbing up a mountain, if you are a marathon runner, if you're fit and you're healthy, versus climbing up a mountain when you're missing a leg. You can still do it. It's just going to be a lot harder, and it's going to be much more complicated. So I don't, I would not trust a practitioner's advice on this kind of thing, or somebody that's perfectly healthy. And that's why I make these videos, because this stuff is very expensive. All of this alternative medicine, lymphatic drainage, acupuncture, infrared saunas, they're all expensive. And sometimes you get nothing out of it. Sometimes they have to be used in combination. You have to do multiple different ones, acupuncture and infrared sauna and, all of this stuff. So I really want people to have I'm not selling you anything, basically. I'm not a practitioner. I'm not an acupuncturist. I don't do lymphatic drainage. So at least you're hearing it from someone that doesn't have any financial investment in any of this. And you can make a better decision as to whether you want to spend almost $100 on one of these treatments. So anyways, thank you so much for joining me. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.